Welcome to this week's episode of EThekwini Matters. My name is Zimbili Mazibuko, your host. The city has started a consultation process on the amendment to the land use scheme in the Clairwood area to Special Zone 40 Logistics. This gives effect to the local area plan adopted by the city in 2014. All interested and affected parties are invited to provide their comment on the amendment. Here to tell us more about the master plan for the Clairwood area is Lekha Allopi, Deputy Head of Development Facilitation. Lekha, welcome to EThekwini Matters.
Hi Z, thank you so much for having me here this afternoon.
Can you give us some background on this project?
Yeah, so thanks. Clairwood is a suburb in EThekwini municipality, as you know. It's largely in the central or the south central region of the city. It started as a somewhat residential suburb some many years ago, but it was never zoned initially like that. But over a period of time, if you could just imagine a triangle, the core of Clairwood would have been that particular center of that triangle, and it became the residential area for Clairwood. The remaining area around that residential was then industrial. And over decades, you've had huge industrial conglomerates actually locating themselves in that area. So it's very much a mixed use area for the city, closely located to the Port of Durban, ideally located to the Port of Durban. And therefore, when the city took this resolution in 2014, it resolved that Clairwood would be a logistics hub for the city, given its proximity. And obviously, that it played this role already in the city.
So what is this master plan about?
So the master plan, Z, it really looks to assisting the decision maker. The decision maker is sometimes the head of planning. The decision maker is sometimes the municipal planning tribunal. And the decision maker is sometimes the council of the municipality. So when people put in applications, these three different decision makers get to see different types or categories of applications. So the master plan really is about guiding the decision maker as to how applications should be processed in the area. We can't and we cannot rezone land in Clairwood. You need to have the owner's consent to do that. So what the city rather is directing is that we do a master plan. And then the decision maker will apply his mind at that point to any application to see how best this application fits into that master plan.
And communities are reluctant for this change to happen in the area. Please advise us on some of the benefits of this master plan.
So you must remember the most important point of this whole thing is that EThekwini is a port city. Whether you like it or not, that is the role it plays. It is one of the biggest and has one of the biggest harbors in the South African space. And you must also realize that, while we have a logistics supply just to EThekwini, you might believe, and to KZN, goods actually get to the hinterland via our port. They get to the rest of the African continent via Durban. So Durban is that entry point to the continent of Africa. By virtue of its location, it's a job creator. And the logistics sector is vibrant throughout the globe. So why should EThekwini municipality not allow itself to be a vibrant logistics sector in that space? It already is vibrant, but it is a job creator and it grows this economy. And I think that is the fundamental thing, that the city is a port city and we must be responsive to that.
Tell us about the objectives of the amendment of land use.
So when we adopt and when the city decides that it should adopt this master plan, as I said, it will guide the decision maker. So that's one of the objectives of it. But in realizing the master plan, remember, the master plan cannot happen without supporting infrastructure. And this is the most important part of this project. It's been a 3-year project, see. And, when we did the project, we understood that it just is not a planning project. It's a project that has infrastructure attached to it. It is a project that has a social component to it. And of course, there's the economic spin attached to the project as well. So given all of those attributes, the transversal nature of the project delivered in this 500-page document, which is currently the public space, a traffic impact assessment, which has been approved by the Traffic Authority for new roads in the area. Now, where in EThekwini municipality would you find this happen? So we have taken the opportunity to create these new roads, to design these new roads, supported by infrastructure such as water, wastewater, and electricity, and not forgetting responsible stormwater management. If you go to Clairwood right now, you're going to walk in water because it floods. Its infrastructure doesn't support what is happening there now, no matter how illegal you might believe it to be. But here's an opportunity for the area to be transformed with supporting infrastructure to make this a world-class logistics park.
Now, Lekha, we know that residents, they seem to be very concerned about the impact the logistics park will have on their properties as well as their homes. How will the logistics park impact on residents?
See, thanks for the question. So you must remember that if the city adopts this master plan, it's not a project that can be implemented tomorrow. It's not going to happen next year. So it is a project that will happen over a period of time. Clearly, and most importantly, I would like to believe that the industrial sites are going to be taken up first. And like I said to you, there are far more industrial sites in Clairwood than they are residential, right? So we would hope that the big conglomerates would come in and would start to realize the components of what a logistics park actually is. And by virtue of it catalyzing and settling in those areas, it will then set precedent for this new logistics park to unfold itself.
And how is this going to benefit the area?
So a logistics park, if you look at the international literature, you will notice that in the East, logistics parks are some 490 hectares almost in size, which is huge. It's actually double the size of Clairwood as it stands right now. The Western economy will tell you that their sites are slightly smaller, but not so much smaller, but 150 to 200 hectares. And Clairwood is 248 hectares. But because we've done this traffic assessment, we have something like 170 hectares in which to actually plan in, right? So our logistics park is responsive to the global trends across the globe. And I think that's important to note. Remember, it's not only about a structure, it's about creating quality environments. We as a city have in our vision that we create quality environments. So this is a project that looks to creating those quality environments. It has things like green buildings that we talk about. We talk about energy efficiency in our city. We talk about recycling, grey water and rainwater harvesting. So these are components that we have taken from the Sustainable Development Goals and built them into this so that this area is largely self-sustainable. So we want to create an international, world-class logistics park for this area.
Any last comments, messages for the people who reside in Clairwood?
I think importantly to note that the city is not here to rezone your property. If you came to us and you wanted us to rezone your property because of costs, we would be more than happy to do that and we would help with that. But I think fundamentally, if I could say anything to the citizens of the area, I think we need to give ourselves a chance to grow. Give the city an opportunity to grow. Give the citizens of our area a chance to grow as well. And I think that, it could only do better for the city, but it could be better for them as well as property owners. So the city is not here to rezone your land. The city is largely here to assist you. And I think we've been responsible in the way we've done our public participation. We've gone over and above, Z. We have a planning bylaw. And, we took the opportunity to proactively go to council. The bylaw says you must do public participation within a minimum of 30 days. We've now extended that with council's consent to 60 days because we have the residents' interests at heart. We've gone and we've scheduled public participation meetings. And, we're looking forward to completing those meetings. So we'd like to think that our ratepayers out there appreciate what we have done to make them part of our process. And we really want them to engage us in this master plan, that if we need to change anything, we need to accommodate them, we're most happy to do that.
And then how can residents submit their comments?
So just to remind our ratepayers out there that it is out for comment. The 7th of February was the first publication, and it lies open until the 8th of April. And we do have a website which we've put out on all our platforms, so they can write in, and it must be a formal written comment, a written objection, so that we can consider it. Thank you.
Lekha, thank you very much for your time. That was Lekha Allopi, Deputy Head of Development Facilitation. My name is Zimbili Mazibuko, and I was your host. From myself and the entire team, it's goodbye. See you next week. Don't forget to like, to share, and to subscribe.